Aloha, beautiful golden pod, beautiful humanity upon the earth and beyond. Miracles in cosmic love, unity, grace, star nation. Miracles in cosmic love here. It's a little bit dark, this little love stream. That's okay, because it's an important one. And it's under a bright moon. And it's in a very special place in the garden. Some magnificent sand dunes that sit at about 9,000 feet at their base in the high mountains. And we felt this was a very special miracle coordinate night to share the magnificence of the garden and what we cosmic love are inviting others to consider at this miracle coordinate time that is transforming on the planet. And so my journey on the earth took me around the earth for about 12 years, working with the grid lines of the earth, adopted by water after swimming in a cave on Christmas Eve 2010, magnificent island of Kauai. And that started me on an incredible journey around the planet, walking the grid lines and praying with water. I didn't know anything about grid lines, and although I always loved water, I didn't realize how much I loved water. So the journey took me through many, many, many miracles. And it helped me to understand something about this beautiful blue planet that we may call Earth or Gaia. The journey brought me into a deep connection with the elementals. And I started to realize that this Earth school was created for that purpose. If spirits can traverse the cosmos and go to different planetary systems for different experiences, I started to realize the magnificence of Earth as a school for spirit to learn about its relationship with the elementals. I'm sharing this tonight from this very special place under this very special moon, because it's been a long journey for humans unplugging themselves from many levels of stories that we created for ourselves, many levels of what we might call the game on Earth, and maybe even how the game went sideways in ways, became difficult or treacherous or adventurous, whatever we want to say. But as we go through this incredible transformation of human consciousness, tonight underneath this moon, on this high plateau, sitting at the base of these massive sand dunes that are the size of mountains, under the light of the moon, I am inviting each one of us to consider the potential that the earth, or the garden, as I like to call it, the beautiful blue jewel, was created specifically for the purpose of spirit to come and learn its relationship with the incredible beings that we know as the elementals. And many miracle years ago, a massive download came to me, and the guidance said it was the living library, that it was my life's work to help restore the pillars to the cosmic Akash, and to return the garden to the garden that she was meant to be. I feel this is a very significant miracle coordinate for our human consciousness at this time, to consider that as we restore our relationship with the elementals, which is what the indigenous have maintained the wisdom to help us understand and see the significance of our relationship with the elemental. If we come back to asking and inviting for that relationship to be restored to our consciousness, we will begin to remember that we don't need a middleman. We never needed a financial system. We don't need borders, and there is no such things as boundaries on this beautiful planet. There is diversity. There is the opportunity to learn the expansion of what it means to be a non-physical being called a spirit in the realms of physicality. And each one of us currently has so much potential to create right now through the power of our asking, through asking and calling in what it is that we really feel we are here to create. If we feel that we're here to create new systems to replace old systems, then that's fine, because that's the reality that we'll move into. Everyone has an opportunity to throw their chips down into their own creation now. And on behalf of the earth, as a voice of the earth, as a being that has a direct connection with nature, my invitation is to just take a miracle coordinate to spend time and invoke and ask for the restoration of the remembrance of our relationship with the elementals once more. It's the cusp of the full moon on the waxing side of the full moon. And I made a post about the full moon last night, just a picture, and someone asked, why would we be celebrating the moon? In that person's understanding, the moon was evil, or something was wrong with the moon. And there's many, many levels of consciousness that humanity has been unplugging from. And maybe in some storylines and some dimensions that we have now navigated ourselves through and dissolved. All of that is coming to completion. And the moon is just the moon. I invite us all to consider that the moon is just the moon. Just consider that the moon is one drop of water. Shane Shima made a beautiful post the other night about the prophecy of this quotation marks Easter weekend 2020 and the halls of Maat. And that this time is about the weighing of our spirituality against the feather, and the feather represents the consciousness of nature herself. Is our spiritual alignment one with that of nature, or is it one based on human consciousness and human stories and layers upon layers of what spirituality looks like? The Hopi prophecy and John Kimmy's telling of the Hopi prophecy from what Grandfather David shared with him said, the only people with a track record on the planet for maintaining their relationship with the earth and nature were the indigenous, the root races. Many of us as star seeds have awoken with this consciousness inside of ourselves as well. This summer, I was back on the island of Kauai, who called me home to continue to finish the unplugging of certain things that were inserted into her grids. And that completed in October of 2015 as a miracle coordinate. In the summer, the Hawaiians and many, many people supporting the Hawaiian people did a paddle out in August. And the paddle out connected all of the islands. Everyone paddled out at the same time on all of the islands to be a stand for the mountain and the water and the Aina, to connect into the stand for Mauna Kea. When I did the paddle out, as I was coming back in, the guidance said that my contract with the original root races of the planet was complete. That contract has been a contract to help restore our human consciousness to a balanced, neutral state such that we can come back into alignment with nature and the elementals herself. So I'm inviting each one of us to consider strongly as these miraculous energies are coming in at this time, to invite each one of us to ask to restore that relationship, the right relation with nature and the elementals themselves. Because in my journey, it has become very clear that this beautiful blue planet, Gaia, Earth, was created specifically as a school for spirit to come into form, to discover the magic of form itself in relationship with these incredible beings called the elementals. Each person on the planet has a sovereign right now to invoke and ask and call in the realities that they are choosing, because as humanity is zeroizing as a species that has been bound by duality in a field of causality, each being is being liberated from the influence of external forces. I don't call the elementals forces, I call them powers. Each being is having the capacity now to call in the reality that truly lights them up. It says in the Hopi prophecy and other prophecies that were shared by the indigenous that some will choose to go the way of technologies and some will choose to go the way of the earth. We all have our own choice. There's no good, bad, right, or wrong. But on the night of this waxing beautiful full moon sitting in these sand dunes, in this area that is so elemental, and on my own journey around the planet, with the elementals guiding me to the most miraculous places and portals that open before my eyes, I'm inviting each one of we to consider seriously for ourselves the magnificence that is available when we restore our relationship with the elementals and nature herself. Because as we do, it even says, Richard Rudd wrote about it in the Gene Keys, that those that restore their relationship with nature, true magic will return. There are many, many realms that have been witnessing our progress and assisting us. And many of those realms are ready to begin to reveal themselves to us. And as our bodies go through transfiguration, and guaranteed the human resonance is going to take another massive quantum leap. As our bodies go through transfiguration, we begin to develop the capacities to have experiences with all of these realms and beings again. And it comes from right relation with our human family right now. A lot of people along the way have not wanted to be a part of the human family, looking at the chaos that's been on the planet. But if we are in a human body, we're part of the human family. And it is about learning to navigate ourselves back to neutrality and to hold that field of love for all of life and all of creation, for all of our family to rise as one. Richard Rudd spoke about it in the 55th Gene Key. He said this is a time of transparency, which means being willing to continually purify ourselves of any old programs that we're harboring inside of us that create separation in our perception. So that transparency is to be transparent about what we are willing to let go of and purify within ourselves. And as we do, Richard said, this will become a time of true romance. Because through transparency, when there is nothing left to hide, true intimacy can be formed again. Within ourselves and Source, with each other, with our pods, with our communities, with our beloveds, with nature, and with all of these magnificent realms that have been guiding us. True intimacy within the garden, this beautiful garden restored. In July of 2013, when I was shown the entire cosmic Akash, and the guidance said, it was my life's work to help open those pillars to the cosmic Akash, to restore the garden to the garden that she was meant to be, she was created to be. On this special night, under this moon, I believe Shane said tonight the moon is in Libra, which would be about balance, and the weight of our heart compared to a feather, compared to nature. May this love stream in the space between the words hold such massive codes of transfiguration for every being that is ready to take the quantum leap into the miracle, into the galactic, into the cosmic, into the celestial. That all life be seen through the eyes of benevolence, through love, through connection. May these massive crystalline sand dunes with water flowing through them be a giant sentient computer of love to carry this message on this miracle coordinate night. And for all of us to remember that we don't need any more middlemen, that each one of us can call in, can pray, can ask for the quantum leap into a cosmic and galactic civilization. We really have the power to invoke this through asking. Ask and it is given, and open to receive. And never let our doubt stop us from asking what is the impulse within us, what we are being guided to call in at this time. The moon is just the moon. The moon is one beautiful sentient drop of water, holding the memory of all of life and all of creation. The rings around the moon right now emanating to us the remembrance of cosmic love. Because it's our story. We get to make our story in every moment. We get to dissolve our story in every moment. And we get to create again and again and again as quantum beings, as spiritual beings, physical and non-physical. My invitation is for us to all take together the quantum leap and return the garden to a place to play, the living library